Hi everybody, it's Ginger from In Sheep's Clothing Yarn Shop here in Torrington, Connecticut, and I'm welcoming you to another one of my Shopcasts. So today we are, as you can tell, we're in a little bit different area in my shop. This is in the back area. I'm sitting at my table, which you cannot see, where we do classes, and you can see my notions in the back, and I've got buttons back here. And so we're going to be talking about the Noro upcoming Noro trunk show and my sample, my lacy chevron sample scarf that incorporates two of the summer Noro yarns and a novelty yarn. And and then the big thing that we're talking about today, we'll start with that first, is I promised a couple weeks ago that there were some projects in the 52 weeks um, of scrap yarn. And there was one particular project that I wanted to go through some of my stash collection and pull some yarns out for that project, and maybe in the process find some other yarns for a couple of other things that are in here as well. But we'll certainly be concentrating on one of the projects. And one of the projects are, and I think I might have to just adjust, there we go, adjust my camera just a little bit. Let's see, there's so many great projects in here. One of them, if I happen to find some of my heavier yarns, this project right here, this is used doubling and tripling up some of the yarns to get a bulkier yarn. So that's one I'm going to be keeping my eyes open for. But the project that I'm mostly going to be really looking for is this one here called Bobble Pop. I think those mitts are so stinking adorable that is what we have to be working on. And this, I think this camera's gonna drive me crazy. There we go. Sorry about this. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it looks like my head was, I was afraid that if I moved, my head was going to get chopped off. So anyway, here we go. So anyway, this particular pattern here, oh, and there are two sizes. I didn't even notice that. They are using a fingering weight yarn. And I just love it because it's incorporating crochet, has little granny squares and little bobbles, and it's knitted and very, very cute together. So what I thought I would do is just go through my yarns and pull some things that I think would be appropriate. Just as far as weight yarns that I could always go through later and then, you know, go and pull out the colors that I would like to use. But in the process, okay, so this is how everybody's, I'm going to refer to my yarns as stash yarns because that's what a lot of you say. I don't know. There's something with the word stash that just kind of grates on me. I just don't like how it sounds. But anyway, so my yarn, leftover yarn collection, and I've had so many people give me other suggestions of what to call it. But so mine might be a little, I think all our stashes are different from one another's, because depending on how we purchase yarns and what we're knitting or what we're creating, and how we do that, how we go about doing that. No, excuse me. I'm still, even though I feel great, I feel so much better than I have been, I'm still get that thing where I kind of lose my voice a little bit, or it gets kind of gravelly. So I apologize for that, but this is what it is today. So my yarn stash is different in that I don't have time to make really big projects. I don't knit for myself because I don't wear sweaters, because first of all, I don't want to knit that much to cover me. I just don't feel comfortable with the knitting that I like to do. I like to work on like worsted weight yarns, size 8 needles. That speaks to me. Although I have been using smaller needles, smaller yarn, I don't want to do that much knitting for me. And I don't feel comfortable in the knits that I like. I don't feel I don't like how I look at them. So I'm not going to knit myself sweaters. So because of that, I don't collect a lot of large amounts of yarn. So what I do, I make a lot of smaller projects. I'm Once upon a time I used to be a big sweater knitter, because when I started knitting, I used to think, well, what else do you knit? Sweaters, that's what you're supposed to knit. Well, now I find there's so many other things that you can knit. Smaller projects, I like instant gratification. I would rather spend time, even these days, spend more time on smaller knits that could still be accomplished in a reasonable amount of time. So, by saying all that, that means that my yarn stash may be very different than what yours is like. So I don't have like bags and bags and bags of like 5 and 6 skeins of yarn or 10 skeins of yarn. I have very little of that. And I also went through my stash a long time ago and gifted my sister, serious, 3 SUV full of yarns. And so she benefited by a lot of my bigger amounts of yarn at that point. So now what I tend to have are bags of, like, I have a lot of Noro yarn, so I might have half balls of the big balls of yarn, or there'd be odds and ends of skeins, or half skeins, or quarter skeins. Now, I also do a lot of kits. So I can't leave all this in my shop. So what happens is it gets bagged up and eventually gets home into my fiber room. And then when I have time, I sort through it. Sometimes I'll realize, oh, I need such and such. It's at home. I know I have a big bag of some of that stuff. So that's what I do. Excuse me. So I'm just getting you ready for the fact that when we go through my yarns here, it's going to be a lot of smaller amounts. So we will get started doing that right now. Now, I wish I was trying to get myself arranged in such a manner that I could have stuff spread out. But just in the way, we're not going to do that. We're going to end up having, I'm just going to show you close-ups of smaller amounts of yarns. So I was thinking about, okay, so we need fingering weight. Now, I don't normally knit with a lot of fingering weight yarns. I do like Silk Garden Sock, which is kind of like, it's more of a sport weight. So I think since there's 2 sizes of these mitts, I might do the smaller size and get a smaller gauge and use like the sport weight. Although, like, I happen to find this bag here of all fingering weight yarns. And the reason that I have these fingering weight yarns is I was doing these kits, and I hope these bags are not going to drive you crazy here. I'm going to try to make as little noise as possible. But what I used to do, and I still do actually, are I would take a full skein of a sock yarn. So this is a hand-dyed Aracunia sock yarn. And what I would do is I would do these mitts that I would call my heavenly mitts. So with a strand of, let me see what I have here. So I would wind down a half of the skein, because you needed 50 grams of, it's like this is a full one, but you would need 50 grams of the sock yarn, and then I have mohair, and then you would need a 50 gram. Is it 50 gram? No, it would be a one ball. So a 25 gram ball of a mohair. And then I would kit them together for those mitts. So I do have a bunch of fingering weight yarns that would be great for these mitts if I wanted to go that direction. And you know what? I could maybe even throw some mohair in there too. So I do have this bag here. Now what happened was, and then I've got a Christmassy one. What happened was I went crazy wanting to see how the mitts would work in the different colorways. So what I did was I would do one mitt and say this colorway. Then I would say, okay, fine, let's set that one aside. Now let's see what this one looks like. Let's see what this one looks like. So I would end up with about half a dozen. I have more. But the first year that I did this, I would have a half dozen, one mitt. And then I would have a bag with the other half of the other mitt. And that's what some of this is. And I'm sure that I have another ball yet, another bag yet of mitts that need to be made. So what has ended up happening is that some of these colors, like this one, are now discontinued. So for me to go and make the second mitt kind of makes no sense, because the other mitt I can't even use as a sample anymore. I could during downtime, leisure time, take this and finish the pair of mitts, and they could either be given away, sold, or whatever. But that's not on the top of my list right now. This is another pretty color, which I don't think is available anymore. So anyway, so these are truly going to be just probably never finish the other mitts. They worked fine as a sample. So anyway, so I've got this bag, which will work very nicely, and I can set that aside. We know that that will work. Now, the rest of my... Okay, then I also thought about it, and I said, you know what? I have now this bag here. Like I said, I do a lot of kits. So I have a lot of partial skeins that get wound down for whatever. So for example, I thought, oh, this might work even better for what I would like to do. Like, okay, so like this bag right here. These are for my Yankee Doodle chicken kits. So this I'm just going to set to the side. I have so many bags at home that it was like, it's not even necessary. I know exactly what I need, and I don't need to go through rummaging through all my bags for some of this stuff. Now, another yarn that I have a whole bag of here, kind of, there's some odds and ends here, but I have an entire bag here of my Alba yarn, which I have kitted up for the Pharaoh hat, and I realize I don't have a sample of that Pharaoh hat. But it was a Jody Long design that I kitted up in different colors. And I wish I had we just finished going through all my samples and packing them away. And those were the winter samples. Was not thinking about that. But there's so many different colors of the Alba that I just have so many colors. And these would be great for those mitts. So I have a ton of yarn here that would work great for the mitts. And this is one of my favorite yarns. It has there's wool, alpaca, and viscose in there. And even though I'm not typically a small needle knitter, this yarn just makes me very happy because I love the feel of it. I tend to be one of those people that I would rather work with something that has a little toothiness to it than something that is totally silky, smooth, wonderful, a more luxury type yarn. I would rather work with this. And I know that sounds bizarre, but I just like the feel of knitting with that. I love wearing luxury yarns. They're not my favorite to knit with. So anyway, that's one of my little things. So I think that this sock yarn, I could certainly pair something up like, I could certainly do this. Yeah, that would be nice. And I wouldn't mind, because I'm also not a superwash, like a merino superwash yarn person either. To me, that's just a little too soft and slick. But this is really pretty. I think I need to put these two together. So that's definitely a thought. And then, okay, so I could go through this later. Yeah, that could work. And that could work too. All right, so we have some yarns I'm definitely going to play with together here. And then there's some purple. Yeah, I'll probably go with we'll do that. I do love the kind of bohemian look that those mitts have. So I can, you know, really play around with colors with that. So that works. And like I said, I'll probably throw some mohair in with that too. And this would be a fun knit along for us to do. So I hope that maybe you're thinking about your stash and what you might have for, you know, fingering / sport weight yarns. So those are definitely going to work very nicely. And then, let's see what else I have in here. Oh, I wanted to keep my eyes open for some silk garden sock. And that, I'm sure that I have some of that in here. I'm sorry, I don't want to be, some of these bags are like really crunchy plastic bags. And I'm sure they sound worse. Like I see some, oh, here we go. All right, we're going to do it real quick, like rip a Band-Aid. There we go. All right, this is perfect because this will go very nicely with some of those pinks and purples. And this is a silk garden sock. So see, this is what this is what ends up happening. I have a lot of sample stuff that I work on, and then I end up with, like, you know, these are my partial balls that I end up working with. So I have that. This could work as well. This is a silk garden sock also, color number 1, which is a favorite. So I could pull that out. I also found, yay. Oh, here we go. Okay, I found some novelty yarn that I need actually when I start talking about the scarf. I can use some of that. So we found some of that yarn. That's great. And also, here's some more of that sock yarn. That would be very nice. And look, I have some more purple. I could probably make 1,000,000 pairs of these mitts right now. That's really exaggerating. But I could definitely make some fun pairs of mitts. And then I've got the novelty yarn. This will be great for that scarf. So I will set that aside for that. Here's some more silk garden sock. I have, look at this, I have a whole ball of it. I was doing some kits that I was putting up. And like, this is a discontinued, I'm pretty sure this is a discontinued color. So that can get thrown in with that. Here's another silk garden sock. So we're just going to collect all these together. Now here, look, in our travels, this would work great for that little vest, because this is a really chunky, this is Ricka from Noro, and it's a chunky wool blend. So I will put that aside in a second pile, because I do want to keep some of the things that I can use for that. And here's another yarn, discontinued, Oku. Now I can't even, we used to call it Oku for short. I loved this yarn. It's a shame that they discontinued it. This is a silk wool Angora and mohair. I loved working with this. I made a number of cowls with this. I love this yarn. But this would work nicely for that vest as well. And then I have, what else do I have in here? Oh, some little odds and ends here. Capito. Yeah, you can throw a little of that in there. Yeah, some of these are different things. Okay, so that could get thrown in here. But we could save this. Okay, well, I have basically, well, we'll go through a little bit more on my stash. A lot of this is Noro. What is in here? Oh, actually, I could use this. See, again, for my kits, this whole ball here, this is Compito. And I can wind this down to make a kit. I decided that I wasn't planning on doing it, but since there's so many new people now, not just in my shop, that might be interested. I was going to do a summer sampler, so it's kind of like a yarn tasting. But what you can do is I would give you a pattern to make a simple cowl, and you would get a tasting of a bunch of different summer yarns like Kakagori, the Compito, Natsumiki, the new, I always have to keep reminding myself how to pronounce this. ohajiki yarn would also be in there. So I decided that I am going to do that. So we're going to set this yarn aside so for kits for that. And then what else do I have in here? I have some more silk garden sock and some other stuff here that I'm not going to bore you with. And I still have, yeah, there's a whole bag here of, I found some Sonata Shima, which would work very nicely for those mitts. Sorry, really crunchy. Plastic. There we go. This is a great color. And yeah, this is like a fingering sport weight yarn. So that can get thrown into the bag, into the bunch for the mitts. Let me just look real fast. The rest of the stuff is kind of chunky. Oh, here. Okay, so this is the Heavenly Mitts that I was talking about. Some more yarn, but some mitts so that I could show you. So here's the fingering weight yarn. And these are the mitts. These are some of them. These are the ones that need the mates. So here's my, so I did 2 different styles. I did the roll. Everything's rolled. Or if you wanted to do, and this pattern's still available, and I still kit this up. Or if you wanted to do ribbing. But it's a strand, and here's a couple other, they're so, once you put them on, they're just wonderful. I really should make the pairs. These would just be such a nice little gift to give somebody. So I really should do that. See, here we go. Here's the rest of that. So I should. Yeah, this yarn is not available anymore. So this is only, that's it. So if I use this, I definitely can't make another mitt. So maybe I should just, I'll keep these together. Yeah, I'll keep these together. So what I should do is go through that other bag, and the yarn that I definitely have for these mitts, we will at some point make the mitts, because that would be terrible. Just to, like, what are you going to do with just a single mitt? So we will do that. And I know some of you will say, oh, you could just do, here we go. See, there's the rest of that yarn. So that's going to go in there. Okay, so we decided to do something a little different. And I think the rest of the other yarn is in the other bag. So we'll do that later. But wouldn't that be better just to have a pair of matching mitts? I know you can have mismatched mitts, but I don't want to do that. So, all right. So that's another, that'll be another project for another day. And I think there's probably another mitt to go with this too. So we'll stick that in there. But let's see what else is in this bag. I have a bunch of, I'm not going to go through, oh my goodness, yeah. I really was going, so here's some mohair. And I do see some more of that sock yarn in there. All right, so that's going to get put in here with that. Okay, and I purposely brought this in. This was sitting on my my table at home. This is Silk Garden sock, so we're going to add that. We're going to add that to the batch. And then also I have some yukata. Yeah, that I was doing some of the granny squares in. See, these would all be great for granny squares too. Yeah, we could do that. Well, the mitts have granny squares, so that might morph off into something else as well. But anyway, so I have this. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that with this. Although my granny square, I still have to decide that top that I want to make that has the granny squares here. I have to decide what color I want to do the body in, because I think that's such a stinking cute little sweater. So I'll keep this to the side. What else do I have in here? Oh, see, now this can go. Yeah, this can go. This is more of that Oku yarn, the discontinued yarn that can get put with that. Oh, I kind of feel like this would be fun to do. I haven't done this in such a long time, playing with my my stash yarn and just breaking it up into different things, because this would also make a great kit too. It made a beautiful cowl, that yarn. Yeah, now I'm being really nosy about. See, these were all kit yarns. All these right here, they're already wound into balls. I was doing hats. And, oh yeah, this is a great color. Yeah, see, this is a current color. This is a great color. I would do like a faux Fair Isle hat. So you would have a solid color background. Maybe not this one. Oh, I have this too. Here's some more for the mitts. Oh, and another one for the mitts, a deep purple. Yeah, most of these are a worsted weight, but some of those weren't. But so anyway, I would, put two together. You have your background, and then your faux Fair Isle would be done in the multicolor. So anyway, so these are for kits. So that's why I end up with so many bags of just this type of stuff, because they are meant for kits. Okay, so now I have so much yarn to make so many of those mitts. But what I'll do next is I will go through these and I will pull yarns together that I would like to, that I would like to put together, and those would be fun. Yeah, we will do that. Okay. All right, so I hope that you do that yourself too, is go through and go through your book and decide what you'd like to make. But I think this would be such a fun knit crochet along to do those mitts. I would love, like, see, now I'm all fired up and I want to start those mitts now. Although I have to show you the other project that I need to get done this weekend, and then I'm done with it. Then look at how cute those are. They're just darling. I just love them. Yeah, those would be so much fun. Okay, so that's that. Let's take a little sip here. So anyway, I hope that you've been looking outside. It looks like we're going to get rain. It was beautiful earlier, but now it's overcast. And I was a little bummed out. A couple days, let's say Thursday, Wednesday, Morning Dove watch, for those of you that don't know about my mourning doves that are above the door. They had a nest and they had one baby. And I'll tell you, they're very, very quiet. Like, you don't even know they're up there. Once in a while, you'll hear a little cooing. Every once in a while, you might find a little stick or something on the doorstep to let you know that something's going on up there. But then all of a sudden, when that baby is ready, you'll see the mama sitting up higher and higher on the nest. And then all of a sudden, you see two. And I did get some pictures the other day of the mother with the little baby. So cute. But then I'll tell you, came yesterday, it looked like, where is it? And it's like, this one, I hardly saw anything of it. And today I kept checking out there, and I don't see, I did hear cooing, but when I went out there, I saw nothing. So I think they've taken off. But what will happen is they'll take off for like a little bit, maybe a week or so. They get, help the baby along for a little while outside the nest, and then they come back again and start all over again. So, we could have up to a total of 5 nests this year. So we will be keeping an eye out on that. So anyway, so that's the Mourning Dove update. Get something to drink, because I really am losing my voice again. Okay. So next on the list, for those of you that might not know, the new Noro magazine has come out, as well as the Outtakes magazine. I did go through it a little bit last week. As far as the new yarns are concerned, there's a number of sweaters that are in here that the yarns are available now. Some of the newer colors are on back order. But like this sweater here that I absolutely adore, waiting for that color to come in. But this sweater is so fantastic. I would love to talk to you about doing it in a Kari Solo. This is a Kari yarn. It's a cotton and silk blend. It would be beautiful done in a solid. Then you would really see those beautiful pattern stitches that are there. Although the colors, they really do kind of lend themselves. So it is beautiful, and I would have no problem using that color, make that sweater in that colorway. But I could see doing it in any number of any of the other Noro yarns. Or, you know, any yarn. It's a worsted weight yarn. So excuse me again. Any worsted weight yarn would be great. Yeah, like even this does not have, this is the Capito from Noro. Does not have as much colors going on in it, but that would work nicely for that as well. But any worsted weight that you happen to have, worsted weight cotton, or even a wool would be nice for that. I happen to have, this is a little heavier. This is a cotton from Mirasol. That is a cotton silk blend, touch heavier. I would say more, it's an Aran weight, but that it's actually this yarn. The reason I have this yarn here is it's for this little T-top, right there, that I wanted to show you. So I made sure I had some of the yarn here to show you, but it's a lovely yarn. It's called, and I don't know how to pronounce it, Winku, W-I-N-Q-U. It's an organic Peruvian cotton with some silk in it, and they're saying they say a worsted weight, but it does tend to knit up like more like a, you know, 4.5 stitch to the inch. Yeah, and that's what they're saying on here, and they're using a 7 to 9 needle on this, but it does feel lovely with that bit of silk in there, and it's kind of a thick and thin. Well, as you can see in the sweater here, it is a thick and thin knit. So, okay, so that's that yarn. And yes, and then I will be doing an in-store trunk show. I will have all the garments that are in the magazine. They'll be sent here, and I will go through the magazine. Well, in the shop, we're going to do like an open house type of thing. Everybody's invited. Come on in. There's going to be some wonderful giveaways. I am going to be doing some, we'll have the summer samplers in here if anybody wants to do that. I will also, I'm going to put this up on the website too. I will offer a summer sampler kit, which will have the pattern to do the cowl, and also you can get the magazine included with it if you'd like, or you can just get the sample or just the magazine. So those will be up on the website. And then I wanted to show you, what did I do with it? Because I did a summer sampler. I couldn't find the knitted version. Okay. I had it. Did I drop it? All right, we'll just keep talking because eventually I will come across it. But this is a V-stitch. Did I leave it on my desk? I didn't think I did. I thought I brought it over here. Well, anyway, it was basically like a 5-6 different yarns, all summer yarns from Noro, and I did a crochet version, and I did a knit version, which unfortunately I do not know where the knit version disappeared to, so I can't show you anything from that. But it's just a nice way to try out all the different yarns. You know, it's like a yarn tasting. And that's driving me crazy that I do not have that. Oh, wait a minute. Here it is. I put everything nice and neatly over here. That's why. So here's the crochet version. It's a simple V-stitch. And I'll tell you, I enjoy doing this. I did it in the round. I enjoyed doing this so much. Can I get this on? This one's a little smaller one. But I enjoy, and I just love how the summery colors it's so pretty. And I just love how the crochet, the colors just kind of meshed together. and it's so pretty. So I have I have this crochet version, and then I also have the knit version. I'm going to take this off though because it's a little warm here in the shop, and yeah, it's a little warm right now, so I don't need that on my neck. And then what I wanted to also talk about was I worked on this all weekend so I would have it done have it this week. And this is my lacy chevron. Let's see if I can get it up closer. And boy, does this, in the light here, I think it's really, really bright. It's not quite as bright, but boy, that definitely makes a statement. But I just was grabbing something that I could show this on. I think what I might just do, because it almost hurts my eyes, that color. But that's that little t-shirt. So I think what I might just do, because let's just see if it looks better. A little more toned down. I just wanted her to have a little something on. There we go. Okay, but then you can see that. But anyway, so this is this really pretty chevron lace. Let's see, get you up nice close. This was the one that, oh, it's backward. It's wrong side. This is the one that was the mystery last week. So here it is. And then what I did was I did add novelty yarn to it. And this is two different colorways. This is the Ohajiki yarn, the gold. And then the Natsumiki is the brighter colors. So in the pattern, what I just did was, here, let me show you. I have a kit made up in that combo so you can see it. Okay, well, here it is. So this is what you get. You get the pattern, and then you get the little, I wind down a half a ball of the two colors, and then you get the novelty yarn. Let me show you the novelty yarn up close. It's so, oh, I have it right here. It's so pretty. And my feeling is this is like you're painting, and you just change the colors. I just totally leave that up to you. I do not write out row by row. I tell you what the pattern is, but I do not tell you where to change your colors. That I totally leave up to you. You decide what to do. You can go, every 4 rows and change from yarn to yarn, or like I did, I would just do like a chunk in one yarn, and then when I felt like changing it, I would do the other yarn, and then you could do it as often or as infrequently as you'd like. And also you could put the novelty, and I just do like 2 rows of a novelty. There you go. Just put the novelty in there. Where else is a novelty? Right there. So anyway, so I have these kitted up. Let me put this on. So it's just a little like this. Where's my stick? And it's so funny because I know I've said this before, but in case you're here for the first time, I am not a gold gal at all. It's like I don't even like gold, but I think this is stunning. I think this color combination is stunning. The Natsumiki, I love. They're all colors I don't even like that green. Don't even like them, but I love them together. I think it's really pretty. So anyway, so this is kitted up like this. I have this color combo as shown. Excuse me. And then I have a blue-green combo with this really pretty blue and purple, because there is some, wait a minute, this I think I actually have, so I could show you. Well, there's some different color, there's different color combos. I'm going to add a couple other ones too. I also have like the blue and purple, and then you get the novelty yarn with that. You can also make your own, like I have pink also. So you can also, say to me, I would like such and such, or I would prefer, not such and such. So you can do that. But I have a few choices up. Okay, she needs something on her body now because now she's totally naked. No, she looks terrible now. Because I'm going to leave this on because I think it looks pretty nice. So let me get her out of the way because she looks not very attractive. There we go. Out of the way. Okay, so now you get to look at my TV back there. Okay, so yeah, so I have the pretty, it's like I don't have this one out. This is like a, what do I call it? Sea glass color. And they both have a little shots, a little purpley in it. And I just think that's so pretty. And then the novelty yarn that's in here is really pretty. I love the texture that this novelty yarn has. Actually, the other one, yeah, this has a little bit different texture. But really, really pretty. Okay, so that's that kit. And then, because, let me get into a little bit about the pattern. So anyway, again, and if, for some of you know this about me, I don't consider myself a pattern writer at all. I don't like to write patterns. I like to sit and knit and come up with stuff, but I hate writing the pattern out because that means I have to have it correct. I have to be right on about it. I have to be able to produce a pattern that people are not going to be like, what is she talking about? I don't understand this. I need help. So, and again, that's just not fair. So I'm not good at that. And so for me to write a pattern out, even a simple thing, because you have to pay attention to the details so much, and things that you just take for granted, that people, you don't even realize that you're taking something for granted because it's something that you do all the time yourself, that you can't take anything for granted. So because of that, when I do something, like when I did this, when I knit this, I like to knit from the bottom up as far as my laces are concerned. So what I did was, and this is similar to cowls that I've made. It's the same shaping. So I start at the bottom and then work my way. Oh, isn't that pretty? Yes, I think it's so pretty. So anyway, so I started at the bottom. Now also, if you're really looking at this, I made changes. Somebody had said, because I'm like, oh, it's like a sample, but not really. It's a prototype. So there's things on here, like I look at, I'm like, yeah, that changed. I changed this. And then when I started to realize that I needed to write this pattern. Now, for those of you, and I'm sure many of you have probably knit this lace pattern. I believe they refer to this as old shale, and it might be called other things too. But it occurred to me, and I had my heart set on that I wanted to do a chevron lace. There was another chevron I could have done, but it didn't have holes in it, and I wanted the holes. So I said, all right, I'm going to do this one. Well, I realized once I started doing the shaping that I had to start decreasing, I suddenly realized, well, as I'm doing it, it's like I could kind of eyeball it and kind of figure out, like, okay, well, you need to do this in order to reduce the stitches. But then in my head, I'm also thinking, wait a minute, I have to write this down. I have to figure out how to write the pattern. And as I was knitting it, I was starting to realize, like, okay, now I know why people only do straight pieces and they don't do shaping, because it would be very challenging to write out. A good pattern writer could do it. Me, not being a good pattern writer, would be very challenging. And it would be much more time consuming for me to do than I really have the time to do. So once I got it done, and also I realized in a couple places that there was one spot, like right here, I could see it. See right there? See how nice and even it is? Nice and straight? Well, that meant I wasn't doing any decreases. and I needed to be doing decreases. The whole time I'm doing it, I'm thinking, oh, I'm decreasing. And then after a ways, I'm saying, wait a minute, I still have the same amount of stitches on the end that I did have on the row before. So then I started looking at it. I'm like, wait a minute, you're getting a nice straight edge, which is great, but that's not what you want. And I realized with this particular part of the pattern, with the eyelet pattern, see here you have your decrease. This little section here is a decrease. Yeah, it was a decrease, but this is an increase. So I'm increasing at the end. I'm doing a yarn over, but then also I'm trying to decrease. So all I was doing was increasing one stitch and then decreasing. So I kept maintaining, and I couldn't do that. So I figured out what I needed to do on that part, but then I'm like, okay, I really don't know how I'm going to write this pattern out at all. So then when I was done, and I said, okay, now I need to go back and write the pattern. So I thought, all right, let me do it like a graph. And I sat down, I have a graphing thing on the computer, and I started to graph it out. Oh boy, I was so confused. And I said, okay, I can't, that does not work for me. Maybe some people can do it that way. That doesn't work for me. I have to have the knitting in my hand to figure out what I'm doing and then write it down as I go. Which means that quite often whenever I do something, I can't make it just once or even twice. Sometimes I have to make it a few times before I can actually say, okay, I got the pattern and I have it written down and I think it's right. So what I did first of all, so then I decided, all right, working from the bottom up it's too hard. So let me do from the short end and work up, or work down instead. And that's not what I wanted to do, but that's what I needed to do if I was going to be able to write the pattern successfully. So it took me, especially since I got the top of it done so nicely. I mean, once I got it figured out how to do my decreasing, I was off and running. But it was also a very visual thing. I knew as I was knitting, when I got to a place, it was like this rule that was in my head, like I knew what I needed to do. But to tell somebody was a whole different story. So anyway, so then I decided, all right, let's start from the top down, and we'll do that. And I started to do that, and I thought, and I don't know, maybe I'm getting too in the weeds with you about, you know, the design aspect of it. But for those of you that might be interested, here I'm telling you. So anyway, and also the other thing I wanted to do is I could have done garter stitch on either side, you know, to keep it flat. I'll tell you, once I've been doing the shawls now and the scarves with the little I-cord edging, that is the way to go. It gives you just a beautiful finished edge. It doesn't roll. It's lovely. It's such a nice way to do it. So I knew I wanted to do I-cord edging on it. So, and I've done a few other things too, where I said, okay, I know what I need to do. So I did it a few different ways, wrote it down, so I could get it started with my I-cord. Now, the one thing that with a lot of the scarves that and shawls that I've made, where they do an I-cord edging, I hate doing make ones. Don't ask me why. I hate them. Well, I know why. I just, part of it is the way that I knit. I purl a little differently, so I know what I need to do, but it's always a quandary for me when I go to put my needle in, which way to go into the front or go into the back, because the way it's written, I can't do it. It's like I have to do it the opposite way to do it. So all this time, it's always been kind of eating away at me. It's like, why can't I just do a yarn over? Or I could do a knit in the front and the back. But I wanted it to be nice and neat. So I decided, let's try yarn over. And I did. And I have to say, I like that. And I don't have to do a make one. So that is how, so on this, to do it this way, you have to do an increase on one side. So you've got your straight edge, and then you have your increase. And I just said, I'm going with doing the yarn over. And that's what I did. Now, another thing that I changed in the process of making, I was very happy once I got going on this, that the pattern was going into, the pattern was going the way it was supposed to. But I also realized, I thought it would make my life easier if you just, I think it's like a 12, 14 stitch repeat, that you just knit, get your 14 stitch in there, and then start your repeat. Well, it made this really kind of weird looking little, I mean, I suppose it would block out, but I just didn't like what was happening, that little weird thing. So in my second, did I save it? Excuse me. No, I had another little swatch, little sample, which I might not have put over here on the table. But anyway, after I did this, and I was on a roll. I was enjoying myself so much knitting this that I said, okay, this is the way to go. We can do this. And I was enjoying, because I was doing it, I wanted to do it on something that I could really see my stitches. And I did it on a worsted weight yarn, size 8 needle, and it was just working out great. But I also, in the process, said, okay, we're not doing this, that you need to, as you increase, you need to incorporate your lace pattern. And doing that here, I could show it to you on this. So that's what I did. So now what I'm doing is, I am doing, here we go. So I started from the top down. This is my second sample, but see how nicely the pattern is incorporating. It's just working out. It's working out great. So I'm very, very happy with how this is working out. And this pattern is, it's engaging, but not in such a nice way that you can still watch TV, you could talk to somebody, and still be able to count a little bit, or just eyeball it. I don't even look at the pattern anymore. Once I got my pattern, so I'm like, okay, I'm good. Pattern's done. We're in good shape. I don't even need to look at it. And I'm just going to keep going. Now, with this particular one, I am using the yarn that is on the cover. That's the colorway. And this is it right here on my pendle. So that's the color that I'm going with. And what I decided with this one, I can kit this colorway up. And what I was going to do for the novelty yarn, because I had ordered this. All right, now we're going to find, here it is. I think this would be great. So that would be the novelty yarn that would go with it. But I'm tempted. I mean, we could put, like, maybe we could add another yarn to this. I could put another yarn with this, but I'm almost tempted. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to use one full ball instead of adding another color, because I'm very happy with the colors the way they are. And I'm just going to knit this one up just with one ball of yarn. And I'm going to offer that as an option. So if anybody wants to just do, you know, one colorway with this yarn in this pattern, you could certainly do that. So yeah, so I'm going to offer that as an option. So I am, yeah, this is just making my heart sing to knit this. I am so enjoying this pattern stitch. And if your mind goes a little nuts, and a couple times I forgot to put in my little garter ridge, and I took it out, but it's a piece of cake to rip out. Like last night, I was really too tired to keep knitting, and I forget what happened. Oh, somehow or another I lost, because I was tired. I ended up repeating the same lace pattern here and here instead of doing this one there. So it meant I had to rip out. So what I had done last night, trying to get ahead, I ended up ripping out, but at least I got it all back on again before I went to bed. But I was tired, so that was, yeah. But tonight I am looking forward to going home and continuing to work on this because I would really love to be able to have this done for next week. So anyway, if you're interested in doing this kit, it is up on the website, and like I said, I will add some other color choices on there as well. But this is what you get when you order it, and it's just all set and ready for you to go. And you can also get, well, actually what I'm doing is I'm kitting it together. You get the magazine and you get this with the pattern. If you've already ordered the magazine, just let me know, and you could just get charged for this minus the magazine. And then also just want to let you know too, when you order this, I have done a little coupon that there's a coupon code on there so that anything that you order in this magazine, you will get 10% off on the website, or if you call in, 10% off anything that's in the magazine. So you'll get that coupon code. And for anybody that that ordered before I decided I was doing that, I will be emailing you the coupon code. So if you did not get the actual coupon in your kit, don't worry, it will be coming. Or if you did not get it, just let me know and I will email you the coupon code. Okay? So, I think that's going to do it for me today. Excuse me. Yeah. So anyway, I hope that you have a good rest of the weekend. I'll get this up tonight. And I look forward to chatting with you again soon. I appreciate you spending the time with me this afternoon. And if you are new, or if you haven't already subscribed, and you actually gonna get a kick out of watching this, or maybe you picked up a couple hints or whatever, please feel free to subscribe, and you'll get the reminder that I'm on. So anyway, you all take good care. And again, thanks for watching, and I will see you again really soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.